I feel good, boy.
Oh yes, you can pet the dog. Yes.
Hello and welcome to my stream. My name is Zalakor Gaming, and I'd like to welcome you to the chat. So today I'm doing a review of Final Fantasy 16. This game was just amazing, especially in the opening scenarios, which is really what drew me in. Honestly, it just is so cinematic and spectacular that it's really hard to express how good it actually is. And so many people gave it negative reviews and said so many negative things, even tried to boycott it because they believe that it was too whitewashed and other things like that. And honestly, the way they set it up makes sense for it to be, but, honestly, I just like that fact. So I'm going to give it an honest review from my point of view from what I've played. And I've played pretty far in so far. I'm probably about maybe 10, 15, 20 hours in. The game is really good. It really is. And I truly, truly enjoyed it. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but all I could say is, compared to other Final Fantasies that we have seen, this one is very graphic, very dark, and very mature for its content. Like, incredibly so. So the story... So, firstly, the story. The story revolves around a character named Clive Rossfield, who is the member of a royal family in a land where people are ruled by these things known as crystals. These crystals grant them magical powers to draw energy from the air that allows them to use magic such as ice, fire, wind, etc. And so, Clive Rossfield is what's known as a bearer. Bearers are basically given powers from something known as a dominant. The dominants are these entities... are these human beings that are granted the power of these entities known as icons. Each element has a single icon. However, in this scenario, in this game, during a situation where a foreign nation invades and betrays Clive Rossfield's family, long story short, another icon is awakened, something that is also an icon of fire that goes to attack and destroy the Phoenix icon of fire, who happens to be Clive's brother. Things go from bad to worse as Clive is forced to witness this random person murder his brother as an icon in front of him, and he believes him to be dead. And so, as a way to sort of take vengeance for his incidents, he decides to hunt down the man responsible and kill him for what he did. First, I'm going to cover the gameplay mechanics, and then I'm going to cover things such as the special effects and the story, voice acting, and other things like that. The story is just good, and I will be honest with you, I hope to see another Final Fantasy like this in the future. So for combat mechanics, it is very much a more hack-and-slash styled RPG game. There's not as much, story-driven stuff to it. There's not as much, abilities, and it's all free-form, free-flow combat, which a lot of the more recent Final Fantasies has sort of gone towards. Using your sword, you can blend in sword magic, or swords and then magic as well. Starting with fire, and you'll learn, and along the line you'll learn others later on, but I'm not going to go into too deep with that. During combat, there are events called cinematic scenarios. During these cinematic scenarios, things such as, dodging and then attacking. It's like a quick time event you have to do that gives a very cinematic, action-packed thing. This boss here had a scenario just like that, as you saw, where I had to dodge the attack and then use a reaction command to attack. It's an interesting concept. I love how they do it. And it especially gets better as you go down the line and start having giant behemoth icon battles where you fight the enemies one-on-one. It's just so well done. I can't express how much I actually enjoyed it. For leveling up and such, you usually have things like, you have the ability to increase your mastery of a certain ability, and you also can unlock better sword skills such as lunging and dropping. It's kind of simplistic, which is unfortunately a downside. It's very simple in terms of the abilities, stats that you can learn and the skill tree. But it's a good start for the first one like this. It's really entertaining. I truly recommend this. Just playing overall, it feels smooth. You can do precision dodges and then counters, and you get combo chains, and as you go through, you eventually learn to flow your combat together. And like all Final Fantasies, of course, they have the stagger system, where once you hit their stagger bar down, of course, they get stunned. Now there's other things such as the icon battles, like this right here. What we're about to see is one of the very first icon combats. Icon combat is so interesting. It's all cinematic, all picturesque, and it's just entertaining. This was the scene during the demo I played that drew me in and got me obsessed with wanting to get it. As you can see, you of course control the icon, the Phoenix icon here. Now, it's different each time you play. I don't want to spoil too much, as I said, but the icon battles really freaking shine. And this is something that I loved seeing in older Final Fantasies, just facing off, like in Final Fantasy 15 against Leviathan or against Sin. Freaking Sephiroth battle. All these battles back when they started becoming more picturesque with lightning and all them, when it got more picturesque and more about the actual cinematics of it, that's when I really started to see these kinds of battles shine. They are just so entertaining, playing as a freaking giant monster, throwing fireballs and stuff, and the sound, just the beauty of it. Look at all of that combat and all that freaking incredible just special effects here. It's not too easy. You still have to focus on dodging and everything. You still have to focus on avoiding. But then they'll have scenes where it's interrupted when you don't do a certain amount of damage at a certain point in time. You know, and this is on the fighting difficulty, so it's not like it's overly top hard or overly the top easy. It's kind of a mix of both for me, because I wanted kind of a balance of combat. Because I didn't want to feel like I was just being carried all the way, but I also wanted to feel like I had to try. Again, during icon battles, you still have your quick time events such as dodging, smacking enemies, etc. There's like 3 versions. There's of course the one where you have to dodge, and the one where you have to, of course, you know, attack. And then they also have the Clash one where you have to rapid tap. You know, it's a sort of like old God of War styled quick time event. It's not that bad of a thing, and I actually enjoy it. Plus, just the music and these scenes are beautiful. And overall, it's really good. The combat itself is, again, simple, but you know, if maybe in future installments, maybe they'll add a little bit more finesse to it, maybe add a little bit more of an RPG element to it, because right now it's more of an action RPG, but for a single player game, it's definitely good. It's a single player, story driven game. Not as open world as Final Fantasy 15, which I'm fine with that, because unfortunately I haven't seen yet an ability to really do anything with that. Like, you haven't really been able to get like a chocobo or anything that I've seen yet. I'm not saying you won't. I know that the main character has one in the beginning, but you know, shit happens. Honestly, just overall, the icon battles are definitely what shine. Now we're going to get on to the actual special effects. So, looking at special effects, dude, man, this game's special effects are just freaking amazing. Like, the special effects in general, all the freaking combat, it just flows, and it really stands out when the magic is used against the really dreary, dark, medieval style backdrop. It really just stands out amid the chaos of battle. Battle never seems too easy, but the freaking effects, though, just amazing. Character design is good, you know, and just, I loved playing this game, and even if I lost, it just felt so good to die and just see the effects these enemies have. One downside I'll point out is a lot of the enemies do tend to be repetitive, so you'll face what feels like the same boss numerous times, but I've only seen it happen a couple, 1 or 2 times, maybe 3 times, but each time they do get more powerful, and they're not always the same name, but they do have the same abilities and same attack patterns. Then and they'll do that for a bit. They're like mini bosses, and then you have the big bosses at the end of stages. But again, here's a really cool reaction time thing. You just see Clive parry this and fire back a fireball at the guy, just shoot, and then knock him off down to the ground. Then you get staggered on him so you can deal more damage. It's really cool and fun, entertaining, and satisfying just to witness. Mixing in combos together, doing your attacks, dodging, parrying. There is a parry system, though it is a little bit more difficult to get. You have to attack at the same time as them, and time will be slowed and they'll be stunned. You have to, if you dodge in time, of course, you get counterattacks if you time it properly. But as I said, combat does get more and more intense as time goes on. Overall, it's just a really fun time to face all these enemies. Just in general, though, I haven't really seen a bad fight. I haven't found a terrible boss fight. There are some that definitely outshine others. Like there's one where you face someone known as Garuda. There's one where the icon battle stood out. I feel like they put a lot of focus into the icon combat as a whole. And it just, those icon battles really just outshone the rest of the game. I don't know why, they just do. And overall, it's just entertaining. Now, as for like voice lines and characters and character development, so at first it seems very simple. Like it seems like your character is going to be the same way the whole time. He's going to be seeking vengeance, but then something happens. Now his goal changes. Then he finds out something that's the truth. He finds out some secret that was hidden, and then it becomes, now he has to discover what that problem is. He has to discover that one. He has to figure out, and then his entire personality changes. You see Clive go from this vengeance-driven character bent on survival to someone who has a purpose in life. And it's interesting how they do it. I can't express how they did it, but it just came out perfectly how they did. It was good and fun and entertaining to watch, and I really got connected to Clive. You know, at first he seemed kind of like kind of a potato. Not really a potato per se, more like an angry, angsty teenager. But I mean, it's understandable when he lost his brother, and then you see him get a lot of different ways. Clive as a character, I really like him even more than I didn't much care for Noctis from the last one, and maybe that's controversial, maybe people will disagree with that, but I digress. Clive is a lot more of a character I can truly connect with and like over Noctis. I don't know why Noctis just never appealed. Noctis felt very, very like just there until he was an adult later on. Clive actually has a personality in the beginning besides teen angst. And so ultimately, you know, and then we also see another character known as Sidolphus. Sidolphus, as I'm sure you could guess, is literally this game's Sid. Now, in the previous games, we've always seen Sid as kind of just this background support character, very seasoned. He's just trying to give tech support, practically. He's like the, hello, may I help you with customer support, please? But in reality, in this game, he's actually a much more front-running person, acting almost as the mentor to Clive. And I like that they did that, because Sid has been such a popular character ever since he was first shown. From what I recall back in Final Fantasy VII, that's the earliest I've played. I haven't played the originals, but I do know about them, but I don't know a lot. So I don't know if they had Sids or not, but correct me if they did. Either way. Sidolphus is literally the leader of a rebellion against the Empire, and it's so cool to see happen how he develops from this, like we see him as this not even really a grumpy old man, but as a man who's just trying to help people. And we see him, turns out he has all these different things, and just, it's such a good game. Now let's cover level design. Level design is just, perfect. I loved level design. Level design, I cannot express to you enough. Level design was amazing. Everywhere you go, you just really see this fantastical magic world. The worlds are different, they're perfect and beautiful. My only major complaint that I have about their world design, the way the world is set up, it's set up in stages. Instead of being in like a smooth transition from one place to another where you have to travel from one place to the next, it's more like I go here, I complete this stage, I go to the next one, I complete that stage, I get a waystone, here's a rest spot, that sort of thing. And that's not a bad thing per se, it's just not the best decision they could have made in terms of what they should have done. Like, I think they should have done a lot more in terms of that. Overall, though, it was good. They just could have done better. Honestly, the thing is that I wish what they had done was just, in general, made it to where when we're traveling, when we leave a stage, we don't leave it by just teleporting off the map. No, I think what they should have done was have us go to the end of the stage and walk out. And we see where we're going in the distance, or we see the transitional areas. So we can see it go from a giant dark forest into, say, a small town village in the valley kind of thing. I wish they had done something like that. It would have been a lot more, intuitive and in-depth to see that. Now, there are instances where you can see the world around you. It's just not the same as what I mean, though. The variation in enemies is There is a lot of unique bosses, but most of the uniqueness comes from the primary end stage bosses that makes them so unique. Then sometimes you'll see enemies repeated later as mini-bosses. You know, it's not per se a bad choice. A lot of games do it. But ultimately, I think they could have been a little more unique. Either way. Things for such as, like, abilities and powers, those are all, like, different. Those are all very different in a certain aspect. So, like, your home screen and everything is all simple. I mean, otherwise, this game definitely caught my attention, definitely got my love, and I support it. Many people didn't. And it's sad, because this game is freaking amazing and entertaining, and I wholeheartedly enjoyed it. Cutscenes had me in depth, had me full of just heart, and when I thought a character might have fallen or died, I actually felt sad and depressed. I cried during the demo during one particular scene that just had me depressed, that made me want to seek vengeance with Clive, that really got me attached because we got to feel the pain he felt. You know, it's an interesting thing that they managed to do, and I'm glad they managed to do it because so many games falter in that department, and it's sad that they do. Anyways, ultimately, I suggest playing the game. I really highly recommend it. I truly enjoy it. I can't express to you that this game is a underrated game. Don't believe what everyone else says. Like, so many people said this game is trash. It's just a freaking piss down water swill. And I'm sitting here thinking, have y'all actually played through more than just, like, the tutorial or the demo? Because, yes, the demo was kind of empty. Yeah, the side quests are lacking a little, but, I mean, that's okay. It's more of a linear game, and it's not bad to have a game that is singular and linear in nature. Not every game has to be a, you know, drive to get so much done, to get all this side stuff done. And honestly, to do everything, there is more. Everything unlocks over time, like a lot of Final Fantasy and Square Enix games. These are games you really have to enjoy and take time and put effort into to truly appreciate and enjoy. Anyways, I think that'll be it for me now. I think that's it for the video. I hope that you all will try it. I hope that you people will give this game the chance it deserved, because so many people didn't. And it's a shame, because this game is actually truly incredible, and I've enjoyed every step of this journey that I've taken so far, and I'm still playing it today. So I hope that maybe we can all see and have a discussion, maybe in the comments, and I hope you'll like and subscribe and give me support in the future. Hopefully we can get this spread out and maybe figure out, you know, what other games I can review. I've played a lot, and I'm still playing others on top of Final Fantasy 16. I still am playing currently Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Maybe that'll be my next review, maybe the Kingdom Hearts series, but that's a whole can of worms I'd have to unlock in a whole other way. Anyways, y'all have a good day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace! Most amazing of all is that I can pet my doggy. Yee. Bye.